Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and this is the Storyteller Forecast for Pisces for April 2016. Check out my website, anniehelpsyou.com, where you will see new blogs about astrology and all kinds of other things posted all the time. And you can also check out my Creating Successful Online Business course. If you missed this course the first time I ran it, then maybe you'll want to catch it this time. And while you're there, sign up for my free email newsletter and get the growing list of perks that go along with that. So what is happening in April for Pisces? We've got another very active month. March was a crazy active month astrologically. That flurry of activity, that high energy from planets being in Aries and the eclipses and aspects with Uranus and all this sizzling type of energy is bringing us right into April. So that continues. But at the same time, we have Mercury and Mars going to start their retrograde. So they're both going to go backwards. So it's kind of crazy because while all of the lights were green for forward movement, sometimes it wasn't the movement that you were anticipating. Sometimes eclipse-related events may have happened that took you on a different course. But it still was a very busy, active time where lots of things going on, lots of change. April is going to start to bring in that same energy. Some news still will be coming in from the eclipses, but you'll notice this slowdown. It's tricky because when the personal planets continue to move into Aries, we have this need for action. You know, it's like spring fever, as it can be described in the Northern Hemisphere at this period of time, or you can call it fall fever for my friends down under. But in any case, it's this excitement that comes along with this period of time. And it seems like it's seasonal, but it's actually astrologically based. So while that's all happening, we have Mercury, the planet that rules communication, information, sharing of such things, devices for such things, transportation, the vehicles for such transportation. Those energies are all starting to go backwards, and miscommunication, not reading things carefully, things being short-term that seem like they were supposed to be long-term. All of that energy is coming. Mars retrograde brings a whole new slew of information to the table. I have separate videos now up, Mars retrograde and Mercury retrograde, and I highly recommend that to really get a complete picture of what's happening in April and the months to come, you really want to watch those videos because I don't have time to attend to all the subtle nuances and even all the big keynote expressions of these transits. But I will let you know that April is covered with all of them, starting right from the beginning of the month, April 2nd, the shadow period for Mercury retrograde starts. Mercury doesn't go retrograde until April 28th, but with every day you get closer from the 2nd through the 28th, that energy is going to really start kicking up. When I first started learning astrology, I have Aries rising. Well, I always have Aries rising. I did then. I still do. I had this great idea that I'm going to buy all the things and do all the things that I can anticipate that I might want to do in the retrograde. And I did all that in the weeks before it went retrograde. I didn't know about shadow periods then, and I didn't know how potent they could be. When I started seeing manifestations that were very similar, suspiciously similar to how events occur in Mercury retrograde, I started to understand that shadow period actually is very potent. So if you're trying to head that off, you really need to be doing things back in February, March, and as early in April as possible so that you're not wrapped up in the energy. It doesn't mean you don't do anything. It just means that it's prone to changes. So if you have to travel, get the travel insurance or get the refundable tickets because the odds that your flights are going to change, that you want them to change, are really high. The odds that they may change against your will, like changing a gate, very high. Things like that. So you can travel, but you just want to have a lot of flexibility and want to be extra careful. On April 5th, Venus moves into Aries, and Venus rules love, beauty, and money, which brings this impulsive, wild recklessness to all things aesthetic, money, relationship. And while this is going on, we might want to spend a lot of money, we might want to make impulsive relationship decisions, But it's not really the time for that because Mars on April 17th is going to be retrograde. And it's not the time to make huge financial commitments because the odds that the finances are going to slow down are high. Also, Mars rules sexual energy. So any romantic relationship initiated under this timing is more likely to fizzle out. Now, that's not 100% of the time. There are certain caveats. Maybe you have superseding things in your chart. But statistically speaking, the odds are that something started new, whether it's launching a business or whether it's launching a relationship or whether it's moving to the next level of relationship, something like that, if that occurs during this energy when Mars, even if it's not exactly retrograde yet, it's getting really close. So the shadow period for Mars retrograde started February 18th. It wasn't very strong back then, but with every day that we came closer, especially getting towards the end of March into the beginning of April, which is why I advised in my February and March reports to do everything that you felt like you needed to launch, that you needed to get out there anytime in the next, 6 months or 5 months or so from February, that you should do that in February and March because this energy is going to slow down and start interfering. So April 18th to April 17th, or February 18th through April 17th, Mars retrograde shadow period. Mars goes retrograde on April 17th until June 29th. But then there's a post-shadow period. So Mars is not completely clear until August 21st. So avoid launches, avoid elective surgeries, avoid new relationships, romantic relationships. I would avoid online dating unless you're not going to get attached to or move forward with people that you meet with. What's the point? What's the point then, right? So I would take a break from those kind of things. And anything that rules action, or actually, this is an important one, legal action. If you're going to take legal action on someone, if you didn't already do it by the middle of March, you need to wait until Mars is not retrograde. Mars retrograde is the worst time to bring litigation against someone, as the statistically speaking, again, the odds are high that it reverses against your favor. So because Mars rules the energy of war, and filing a suit against someone is an energetic form of a war against them. And you don't want to do that when Mars is in retrograde because the stars don't indicate the outcome that you desire. Now, if things are following through from things that were already in motion, that's a different story. You're not initiating it, you're not launching it. But you don't want to take that action as that Mars retrograde energy is getting really strong. Okay, so now we want to talk about, let's see what else. Oh, back to a very important date. Okay, so we started out by talking about April 2nd, we have Mercury shadow retrograde. April 5th, Venus is going into Aries, making you want to spend and be reckless and all of that, but it's not the best idea. And then we have February 5th with a beautiful transit for the sun to Saturn. The sun and Saturn coming together can bring support for your endeavors. But then the next day on April 6th, the sun is in an antagonistic angle to Pluto. So it's like there's energy of someone supporting you and there's energy of something trying to thwart that, all happening at the same time. April 7th is one of the most important days of the year. New moon in Aries. The new moon in Aries is the other best day besides your birthday in the whole year to do a vision board. Vision boards, if you're not using them and you're trying to manifest things in your life, you got to make a vision board. These things are so powerful. A vision board can either be virtual. I hear that there are ways you can do this online. There are apps and websites for this. Or how I do it is I get a piece of cardboard and I clip pieces of magazines and pictures and energies that I want to bring in the next year. And April 7th is one of the most powerful times to do that because we started our astrological new year on March 21st. So the new moon in Aries, which occurs after the sun moves into Aries, is the new beginning, the ultimate seed planting time. And that's the energy that you want to hold for your forward movement. You can also make new moon wishes. You get 10 new moon wishes around everything Aries. So being brave, being independent, having vitality, things involving your physical health. trailblazing, pioneering things. All of those are all Aries energy and would be great for wishes. Okay, so then we've got the Mars retrograde on April 17th officially. Oh, one other thing I want to talk about with the new moon, where the new moon is going to be for Pisces. So the new moon is going to be at 18 degrees of Aries. So if you have any planets that are at near 18 degrees of Aries, then this is going to be a really powerful time for you because the new moon is hitting right on top of that placement. So that's extra powerful. If you don't have that, or even if you do, you early degree placements, and that's going to be the earlier part of the sign. So basically the first 10 days of the Pisces birthdays are going to be the early degree placements. So early degree placements are going to have that new moon occur in the house of finances. So new options, opportunities for income, new actual streams of income, taking a step that will ensure further streams of income in the future, self-sufficiency on some level, maybe not financial on some other level, emotionally or other, sustainability, some kind of great step in getting yourself established to be in communion with the earth or living sustainably with the environment, things like that. So for the earlier degree placements, and this is also the same for if you're watching for Pisces rising, 0 to 10 degrees of Pisces, those are early degree placements. So most of you are going to have that energy in the second house. The rest of Pisces degree placements are going to have the new moon happen in your first house. And the new moon in the first house is a whole new regeneration, redoing everything, just like a rebirth. It makes me think of a friend that I have who used to party pretty hard. And she would do crazy things. And she was known for these crazy stunts that would go on when she was drinking. And as time went on, the stunts continued, and she got a reputation for that. So then she decided she doesn't want to drink anymore, and she doesn't want to be that person. She's doing something else. And she asked people to stop bringing those things up and to look at who she is now. That energy is so perfect for new moon in the first house. It's like, it doesn't matter what I was before. It doesn't matter what you were before. It doesn't matter what you presented to the world before. Maybe you were a computer programmer and now you want to be a singer, or whatever it is that is drastically different about what you're wanting to bring out of yourself and share. This energy is amazing for that. And all Pisces early, middle, and late degree have this amazing opportunity at this time because all these planets are clustered in the first house. So even if you're an early degree placement and you have some of the planets moving into the second house of finances already, you still have a bunch of energy still in the first house. So everyone will benefit from this rebirth, regeneration, renewal, redoing, getting to the bottom of diet issues, getting to the bottom of health issues, what's interfering with your vitality, losing weight, gaining weight, getting stronger, gaining muscle, anything having to do with your physical body and what you present to the world. So, okay, I wanted to backtrack to give a little more information about the new moon. So then I was going to the full moon. The full moon happens on, well, it's going to be April 21st or April 22nd, depending on where you are. And it's going to be at 2 degrees of Scorpio. So pretty much all of you, except you very late degree Pisces placements, are going to have this full moon in the 8th house. But even those of you who are very late degree placements and have it in the 7th house, it's close enough to the 8th house. And it's in the sign of Scorpio, which rules the 8th house. So everyone is going to have this fullness in their 8th house energy experience. But Pisces placements are going to experience even to the nth degree of Scorpio, because it's not only in the sign, the full moon's not only in the sign, but it's also in the house. So it's like a double, I don't want to say a double whammy because maybe it will be something good or something positive, but it's definitely like a double helping of whatever it is. And what it may be is fullness, completion, coming to fruition, coming into manifestation. Sometimes includes drama, sometimes includes happy drama, like extreme, excited, happy states. Just a lot of emotion around something involving deep relationships, so marriage, or your relationship deep relationship you're in, business collaborations, things having to do with spousal money or shared resources or family money, inheritances, or money that you share with someone, joint money. Also, sweepstakes winnings, any money that comes from somewhere else to you and benefits you somehow. Also, research projects, anything related to esoteric topics, even astrology or deep psychological study, mysteries, things like that. Can come to a head, come to a fruition, more information can come out. Also, the topics of credit and debt are here. So it can be a very, very, very full experience, because sometimes we experience the fullness and completion on more than one front. And the 8th house is very deep. It's ruled by Scorpio. So you've got that energy in the days around April 21st, 22nd. I tend to feel a lot of that energy sometimes a couple of days before. So you might also notice that if you pay attention. And speaking of Pluto, Pluto is going retrograde this month. April 18th, Pluto goes retrograde. Now, this isn't as huge of a deal, especially, I mean, it's more relevant to people who are ruled by Pluto, which would be people with strong Scorpio placements. But in general, Pluto likes to go backwards. So it's not antagonistic to it. It's just a good time for research and going in depth and going in deep into whatever it is you're working on. Okay, so on April 22nd, right around that full moon, Venus is going to make a conjunction to Uranus. So we've got a lot of energy of the combination of planets coming together this month. I didn't list all of them because there's more going on than what I have time to talk about. But Venus rules beauty and love and money, and Uranus rules surprises. Sometimes these surprises are good, sometimes they're not good. Coming around a full moon, regardless of what they are, they're bound to be intense. One word of additional caution here is that if this surprise comes to you in the form of a romantic possibility or a possibility to spend money, remember that at this point, Mars is now retrograde. So the repercussions from the decisions that you make at this time are going to likely be long lasting, and they might more likely to not turn out the way you wanted, and more likely to turn out with things that you don't want. So try your best to defy the energy of that's pushing you forward, and really think about what the repercussions are before moving forward with something at this time. Okay, so April 28th, Mercury officially goes retrograde, and you can see the Mercury retrograde video for that. So your extra homework is to watch the Mars retrograde video, watch the Mercury retrograde video. And if you want more assistance with moving through these transits with more grace and ease and having more understanding about how they affect you personally, go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and you can sign up for my free email newsletter. I'm going to be starting a very cool, or I will have started by the time you're seeing this, an interview, I'll basically be doing interviews about topics that I think are really amazing, and letting the people who are part of my VIP group on my newsletter list hear these interviews and have access to them. So if you are interested in that, plus the other perks that go along with being in my group, then go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. And if you're interested in creating successful online business, then I would love to help you with that. So you can check out my course, which is enrolling now. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye.